6 a.m. Mile High City on this Friday, December 5th, 2025. Good morning, Denver, Colorado. Good morning, Bill Thorpe.
Good morning. A little tired.
Yeah.
Been a long week. Oh, yeah. Been a long week. I hope everybody else is enjoying Friday so far, and we'll help you get through it so far this morning as best we can.
By the way, we had that great interview yesterday with Devin from the orchestra.
Yep.
So I go talk to my wife, and I'm like, hey, I want to go to the Colorado Symphony because they've got this great event on the 20th. And she's like, hey,
yeah. Oh,
so
good.
Because of that, the whole Hunt family fired up, going to go see the Colorado Symphony.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's fantastic.
People should as well.
Yeah, they should.
Man, they do a great job. It's going to be at the Newman Center. What was that website again? Colorado.
It's like coloradosymphony.org, I think.
Yeah, I think that's it.
That's it.
So go check them out. Great
Excellent.
people. Great people. All right, we got a lot to talk about today. Bill, the biggest question in my mind with regards to this DC bomber that they arrested yesterday, dude, there's so much here. One, what a weirdo. He's like 30 years old, lives with his parents, and just apparently builds pipe bombs, but only built a few, and then was not active the last 4 years. Like that's weird in itself, right? Like you decide I'm going to become a pipe bomber, and then you lay out pipe bombs, and then you just go dark, and you're just kind of rando guy, lives with his parents. No one really knows anything about him. That's weird in itself. But then, dude, I read the complaint, the affidavit from the FBI, and you sit there and you go, how'd this take longer than 3 days? I think it's just so weird because they arrested him based upon three major discoveries.
Yeah.
One, his cell phone data, right? So it all pinged. The dude had his cell phone with him. So this isn't like a mystery. He had his cell phone with him. So it's pinging off all these towers. That's number one. Number two, license plate readers near the Capitol picked him up, okay? Then three, the dude bought all the components with his credit card. How that didn't take 3 days to arrest the guy is shocking to me. 4+ years, nearly 5 years at this point. What is going on here? That's what I want to get into this hour. Wild details on the DC pipe bomber. These were the pipe bombs left outside the DNC and RNC around January 6th. Why was the FBI not arresting this guy? Was it all an effort to hide it? Did he not fit the description, the racial description that they were looking for? It makes no sense to me. I want to hear from you. Give us a call, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law Text line at 720-819-5115. Chris Murray, 1st and 14th Law, is going to join us on a major settlement with CHASA regarding men and women's sports and what districts can do during the 7 o'clock hour. Barb Kirkmeyer, 8 o'clock hour. PUC planning to eliminate natural gas entirely from homes by 2050, including existing homes.
Yeah, that's the one that I'm like, Yeah,
right.
I want to know the mechanisms as far as how, because you and I were talking a little bit before the show, and what we're really worried about is that they're going to say, we're going to do this, and now you have to pay for the change.
Yep.
Because the one thing that we know that a lot of us have with our houses is tons of extra money to hang around and do a total conversion to get rid of the natural gas. Right. I mean, that we're all of us. I mean, it's amazing. Haven't you seen the housing issues and affordability here in Colorado? We've conquered all of it. We don't have any questions, and our state budget
so much
flush
money.
with money. I mean, it is amazing. Yes, no, not at all, not at all. And so I'm just like, did you read the room? A time in which Coloradans are going through a time in which we're running into the holiday season, and we also are looking at tight economic conditions and people counting pennies and worried about jobs. We've got large unemployment, stuff like that. Why are you coming out and going, hey, guess what? The plan for this, guys. Just read the room.
I'll tell you why. They did read the room.
Yeah.
And guess who's cheering it on?
Ooh.
The Sierra Club.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All All right, we're going to talk with Aaron Lee in the 9 o'clock hour as well. They've got a big drive up and sign for 3 major ballot initiatives they're pushing this weekend. So, Aaron Lee, Protect Kids Colorado, joining us during the 9 o'clock hour. Now it's time for news and comment. Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Good morning. TGIF, 26 and partly cloudy in Denver, expecting a high of 39 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, the Jeffco Sheriff's Office says a sergeant assigned to the SWAT team has resigned after he reported to a crime scene intoxicated. Sergeant Anthony Hamilton was intoxicated when he arrived at the scene of the deadly Evergreen High School shooting in September. The sheriff's office said Hamilton was placed on leave while an investigation was conducted. Hamilton reportedly chose to resign rather than be fired. Officials said Hamilton's conduct fell short of the accepted standards and expectations of the sheriff's office. Wow. I don't know if I've ever heard that one before.
Middle of the day?
Yeah.
Shows up to a active live school shooting drunk?
Are these guys on? Are they
what?
on call, Jeff?
Apparently, yeah.
Right. I guess he could have been at the office or the station or wherever, or did he come straight from home? So
but if you're on call, no drinky.
Doubt. Exactly. When you're on call, you're working.
Yeah, and you can't just sober up super quick. So
yeah, that's wild.
And he must have been a few in for everybody to notice. It's not like he was having just one beer.
I can't even imagine if I'm one of the member or colleagues working with him.
Exactly. Please don't shoot the kids, the drunk SWAT guy.
Right. Or me.
Good night.
Yeah. That is just frightening when you think about it. So
He
that's
said he drank the better part of a 12-pack.
Jeez.
9 or 10 beers in the 12 hours.
Is that what it said?
Yeah, that's what it said.
Wow.
Yeah, better part of a 12-pack. He says
So it
maybe
wasn't
9 or
like-
10.
Wow.
Yeah, so it wasn't like he had taken, 2 vodka tonics.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's working his way through a 12-pack.
Isn't it kind of amazing how much your body changes as you get older? Like 9 beers would hospitalize me at
Me too. Absolutely.
Yeah, same here. One would hospitalize me.
That's how I feel too. I'm like, I'm done with this.
A sip may hospitalize me. Wow. Yeah, that's true. All right, this is sad news. A 20-year-old woman who we talked about yesterday who vanished Sunday near the Loveland Johnstown park and ride has been found dead. Her family confirmed that. Search crews located an overturned vehicle in a waterway north of Timnath Reservoir that matched the description of her car, though investigators have not released details about the cause of death. The man accused of planning pipe bombs, near the Republican and Democratic National Headquarters right before J6 is now in custody. AG Pam Bondi announced that Brian Cole Jr. has been arrested. He's the one who did it.
Yeah.
The pipe bombs.
Do you believe that?
I listened to Dan Bongino for 3 straight years on this.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very skeptical.
Dude, this is so weird because, all right, so he's apparently supposed to be autistic.
Yes.
He lives with his parents. He doesn't really talk to anybody. He kind of shuffles around with his little chihuahua. There's a New York Post article all about talking to his neighbors who are like,
right,
that guy? Apparently the height matches because he's shorter than the average male. And that's what analysis of the video was, that this guy is shorter. The most compelling thing to me are the purchases. Like they all kind of match up. Like what you need to build pipe bombs, pipes, lead pipes, caps, timers, kitchen timers, wires, all that stuff kind of matches up with what he's purchased. So that's the most incriminating thing in my mind. But the idea that it took 4 years.
Yes.
It doesn't make any sense to
Couldn't
me.
they have found him in 4 hours?
Exactly.
That's what red flag.
So either the Biden FBI under Christopher Wray specifically buried it, maybe in part because he doesn't fit the racial profile. If this was a white guy, then of course we're going to run out there and, skewer him and get him within 4 days or whatever. But for whatever reason, they sat on this. They clearly had to have sat on this.
Yes, absolutely. I can't even play that press conference because, I've listened to too much of Bongino before, pre-FBI. So, yeah, it was, that was strange, the whole thing. So, all right, they say they have their guy.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of one of the things when we saw this, is that it didn't play into any of the conspiracy narratives.
No.
All the conspiracy narratives we've heard about the last 4 years, none of this. It didn't play into any of those.
No.
And I think that's going to be hard for people to wrap their heads around. Because they bought into so many other conspiracy theories and so many things about, well, it had to be X, Y, or Z. But again, if it was someone that was a Fed, that would be fair. That could have been fairly easy to track down, and it doesn't make any sense as far as a Fed. And if it was an activist on one side or the other politically, why pipe bombs at both locations? I mean, there's so many things that don't make any sense.
Right.
So being a Fed doesn't make any sense either. I mean, there are so many things that don't make any sense. So yeah, the conspiracy theories were mostly, crazy. But that's going to be the problem, though, is that so many people trafficked in them, so many outlets trafficked in them, and even the media that was talking about it yesterday made some huge mistakes. Daily Wire stepped in it and had an absolutely incorrect story out about the bomber. Yesterday as well. They had to correct it later.
That was the Steve Baker story.
Yeah, they had to correct it because of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I'm so confused right now, you guys.
I am too. Well, in part, look, I believe it can be random weirdos because I was assaulted by a random weirdo oftentimes, and I think that's who killed Charlie Kirk. Yeah. Like, I think I typically it's the person you've never heard of. They don't issue any threats. That tends to do these things, and so that doesn't throw me off. That okay, maybe it might be a random weird guy. What strikes me is, wow, 4.5 years you sat on stuff that could have popped within minutes to get this guy.
Right. It's Keystone Cops thing and Barney Fife. It's like, really? Come on. All right, the Supreme Court allowing Texas to use a new congressional map that would benefit Republicans in next year's midterm elections. The lower court ruling said that the map was unlawful due to GOP lawmakers explicitly considering race when drawing the new districts, but the Supreme Court disagrees. Laura Logan on America's Voice says 47 needs to hold the bad guys accountable now because the left is going to use it against him and try to impeach him again.
I don't think they're waiting 3 years. I think they're waiting 1 year until the midterms. I think there's a plan to steal the midterms, to either take the House or the Senate or both, and then impeach him, and he'll be gone. Because this time they will have both houses and they will be able to get rid of him. And not only will they be able to get rid of him, you know why it's going to work this time? Because they're going to use his own behavior, his administration's own actions, or specifically their lack of action, as the reason that he's going to be impeached. So they're not going to make up the nonsense that they made up with Ukraine and everything else last time. They're going to take his failure, his administration's failure to prosecute and hold people accountable for their crimes, and their failure to address the grievances. Remember, we have a constitutional right as American citizens for redress of grievances.
So he needs to get after it. We'll see. I mean, he's up against.
Do you think he can get? I don't think he'll get the 2/3 in the Senate. So we'll just it'll be right back to the his first term, where it's the only thing that Brittany
we go
Pedersen
again.
and Jason Crow and the rest of them in Congress are going to do with their time. Impeach the president. What'd you do? Impeach the president. And then the voters of Colorado go, yay, great use of time.
Yes. Yes, they will. And it goes round and round. And then questions about the deep state. It's a mess. All right. White House and DJT, he spoke at the lighting of the Christmas tree last night. The Christmas tree is lit at the Ellipse in D.C., and then gave a countdown to the lighting of the 35-foot spruce tree. The annual holiday tradition goes back to 1923. The Lions beat the Cowboys 44-30 last night on Thursday Night Football. Broncos try to take care of business and destroy the Raiders this weekend. That's what should happen, but it is the NFL. Islanders beat the Avalanche last night 6-3. Nuggets in Atlanta tonight, 5:30 tip. 23 in Parker, 24 in Westminster, 26 in Denver. You're waking up with, who are those guys? Oh, yeah, Jeff and Bill.
Well, every week this show looks better to me. Every week your eyesight gets worse.
Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Be on the lookout for some limited visibility and areas of fog to get your day started after the fog burns off, becoming mostly sunny. Highs mid to upper 30s. Fair tonight, teens and 20s. Mostly to partly cloudy. Upper 30s to near 40 on Friday. Near the mid-20s Friday night. Mostly to partly cloudy Saturday. During the course of the day Saturday, there will be a chance of snow showers, as tonight, Friday, and Saturday, there will be snow in Colorado's mountains, with a few snow showers reaching the plains. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Brian Cole Jr. is the apparent suspect in the D.C. pipe bomb. This comes from the New York Post. The man accused of planting pipe bombs outside of the Republican and Democratic National Committees before the January 6th riot is a Chihuahua-obsessed, croc-loving, autistic-like 30-year-old who lives with his parents and family and neighbors. Told the New York Post, Brian Cole Jr. was known as a recluse in his Virginia neighborhood about 20 miles outside Washington, D.C., where he was regularly seen walking his pocket-sized pup to and from a local 7-Eleven. He would wear shorts all winter long, no matter how cold it was. He would be outside in shorts, walking, and he would wear red Crocs. One longtime neighbor recalled. Sounds like most middle school boys in Colorado.
Oh, yeah. Especially the Crocs.
Guys, it's 15 degrees outside. Stop wearing shorts and Crocs. I just may have personal experience with this.
Yeah, the other part for me is those Crocs are on the ice. That's not good. There's no traction.
Yeah, right.
No traction.
We would always just comment, like, how is he in shorts? It's 20 degrees out in his red Crocs, walking his dog all winter long, the local added. We all knew him as the guy that walked the Chihuahua. Cole was arrested by the FBI Thursday morning. Prosecutors alleged he's the mysterious man seen planting pipe bombs outside the leading political party offices on January 5th, 2021, the night before President Biden's electoral victory over President Trump was certified. The viable explosive devices. Remember, these weren't just, that's the other thing. Like, if it was an autistic-like kid just building things that look like pipe bombs but didn't work, the FBI said back then they were viable explosive devices. So these were actual pipe bombs. Were discovered the next day just as an unruly crowd of Trump supporters broke into a riot and invaded the Capitol building. Footage from the bomb planting suspect showed a suspect walking around the city in a gray hooded sweatshirt, a mask, gloves, glasses, a pair of Nike Air Max Speed Turf sneakers, and a backpack. And prosecutors said the suspect was Cole. Sources told the Post that investigators were looking into the possible connection with some form of anarchist writings or leanings, though specifics were not immediately known. But family and some neighbors are convinced the FBI is the wrong man. I don't believe this at all, said Cole's distraught grandma. He's not a terrorist. He's almost autistic-like because he doesn't understand a lot of stuff. I hope he's not talking to him, she said. She said he works at the family bail bonds company, Brian Cole Bail Bonds, which was raided by the FBI as well. Cole's mother is also a loving real estate agent, and he has a brother and a sister. He's very naive, Grandma said. He would not hurt a fly. He's just not that kind of person. Neighbors on his Woodbridge Street agree, with numerous speculating that Cole was on the spectrum and recounting how he always kept to himself when he was doing the rounds with his beloved Chihuahua. He doesn't talk. He doesn't talk to anybody, one neighbor said. He's very antisocial. He keeps to himself. Very introverted. Very, very introverted. Several neighbors also felt that the stature of Cole and the suspect seen planting the bombs didn't line up at all. The guy that I know that walks the dog is pretty short. He has really short legs, like uncommonly short legs. I would like to think that the gait analysis would be pretty easy to either rule him out or confirm, because his legs are, I would say, uncommonly short. Still, some said that if he is the man, then they're glad to see he's no longer living in the house next door, where he could have been manufacturing homemade explosives. If he's making bombs, maybe they're in there. But surely they'd be found by now, one neighbor said. Cole's grandma, however, is adamant that her grandson is innocent. He's just a gentle person. I don't know. He was doing DoorDash for a while. He doesn't have any ties to D.C. I don't even know why they included him in this, she writes. So much that's just weird about this. Bill, what do you think?
Yeah, this one is weird. There are a couple of things. And again, I'm not, I have no reason to believe this is not the correct suspect, but I would think that any sort of a defense team would do some research on the videos, and part of it would be, if he is so short, then there would be height analysis, and even the gait. That is possible, but there are things where if he is seen in this location, you would be able to go back to that specific alleyway, and you can say, okay, in this video, based on the angle, and you know where the camera is, and you can do the math, and then you can draw, it's Euclidean geometry, and you can draw a line, and you'd be able to figure out, based on, it would be the hypotenuse of the triangle, you'd be able to figure out how tall he would be because of where the triangle contacts the side of the building. So you'd be able to figure that out through, basic geometry. So that's, I think, something that if you're looking at him being too short, yeah. The other one is the lack of any other sort of behaviors or any indication of doing this. The one that I would be looking for most, and the FBI, I'm assuming, just hasn't released this yet, is are there any indications of him still having any of the pieces inside of the house? And the other one is, where did he test them? And I think that's going to be most important, because rarely, if ever, do people that create pipe bombs use the first ones they create as the devices they plant. they often want to test them beforehand to see if it works. They want proof positive of their theory of this is going to work, because it'd be dumb for them to go through all of this work and all this time and hiding all this stuff and drop them off and not know if it's ever going to go off. If you're going to take all this time and effort, you're going to make sure it goes off. So I want to see where and how he tested it. That would be important to me inside of this timeline. The other thing is, I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, so Joan from Lakewood texted in the sneakers showed that his family had wealth. But if you read the affidavit, I've got the affidavit on my X account. Go to x.com/Jeff Hunt, x.com/Jeff Hunt. I have the full FBI complaint against the D.C. pipe bomber, Brian Cole Jr. there. Okay, so there's 3 things that led the FBI to him. One being cell phone records. So they're able to trace his cell phone to those exact locations.
And
right?
that was something that I had talked about, not necessarily with the January 6th bombing, but with the rioters on that day, as I talked about the idea that D.C., as you know, is one of the most heavily surveilled cities in the entire world. And you can't go 3 feet without them knowing where your cell phone is, and especially if you're near any sort of a government building. Yep. They exactly know that your cell phone is there because they have a cause to know whose cell phones are going by the buildings. So that's the thing that I was always curious, is that cell phone records, if you thought that the bombs were planted between X and Y, given it was overnight, you're not going to have a lot of foot traffic. Cell phone records, for me, should have been the first piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. And it seems to be that. Yeah. And here's a funny little side story. Do you know what the most surveilled area of Washington, D.C. is?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me think about that. I have no idea, so I'm just going to think. See, I don't think it would be 1600 Pennsylvania. Yep. I don't think it would be the Capitol. My guess would be maybe one of the public monuments or one of the public areas, but I don't know.
Embassy Row.
Oh, crap. That would make sense. Okay, that makes sense.
It's all the country spying on each other.
That would make sense.
And I had this funny moment. I was staying up there a few years, probably about 10 years ago, up on Embassy Row in a hotel, and my alarm clock just randomly making speaker sounds and stuff like that the whole time.
Oh, that's great.
Like all the signals running into it were just like, it was like staticky, random signals popping out of my alarm clock.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, because there's so many frequencies around there. The radio doesn't know what to do
probably.
with it. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic.
So, you're right. The entire city is analyzed. If you get up to Embassy Row, it's every country is listening to the conversations happening in other countries.
That's got to be fascinating. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So that was number 1. Number 2 was they actually have his license plate. So the license plate readers at Capitol South, right by where both the RNC and DNC have their buildings.
And again, note to people that don't like the flock cameras. Again, I'm not 100% like flock's the best thing in the world, but this is the theory behind them as far as why you have them. Yep. I'm just putting that out there when we're arguing about it.
So they had a cell phone, they had the flock camera, and then they went and looked at his purchasing history, and he bought all the components. So let me help you understand what the FBI had. They had the guy in the location. They had his car in the location. Then they just said, hey, let's go get a warrant and look at his purchasing history. The dude bought all of the pipe bomb material on his credit cards.
Yeah.
And then it took 4 years and 10 months to arrest the guy. What do you think happened there?
My guess is priorities. It had to do with a list of ranking priorities. And what I mean by that is, what is the most important thing at this point? And the reason that I don't agree with it, but the reason I can see the DC pipe bomber sliding further down the list is there is no resulting harm. And what I mean is, if there are 2 burglaries or 2 suspected burglars in your neighborhood, and one of them breaks into a home and steals a bunch of stuff, and the other one rattles the door and the window and can't get in, the one that I would assume gets more attention is the burglary that was successful. So that's what I mean by priorities. Now, I don't agree with this case not being a priority, but that's what I felt, that this is probably a priority. And I think in part, and this is, again, I am only saying this is my opinion, and it may not actually be coming out of the orifice in which my voice emanates from all the time. It may be the other one that I'm sitting on. So this could be completely and totally wrong. is that because the suspect didn't fit any particular narrative, because he was a rando, he didn't appear to be a necessary threat. And what I mean is, if the person didn't have any connections to any other organizations, if it appeared to be a one-off, they probably said, well, this will sit for a while. I don't agree with it. I don't think it's right, but that's what I would guess, is that that's why it just languished.
If this guy had a MAGA hat on, was a white dude, within 48 hours, they would have been kicking in his door. He didn't fit the right race. He didn't fit the right political agenda. And I think the FBI under Biden just went, let's go back to chasing down grandmas who walked into the U.S. Capitol. All right, join the conversation. Would love to hear from you. What do you think's happening here? Do you think they got the right guy? And why did the FBI sit around for 4 years and 10 months on something that they could have solved within 48 hours? 303-696-1971 or text us at 720-819-5115. Let's talk the gun room. Folks, absolutely love this company. If you don't know about the gun room, we're going to help introduce you to this wonderful company down in Lakewood. They've been around since 1982. They're one of the oldest gun shops in Colorado. Now, I don't know how your holiday shopping goes in your house, but in mine, well, let's just say I don't always make it exactly clear what I like. You know, we working on what the kids want and what the family members want and everybody else. And my wife and I, it's not always, it kind of gets to the end of Christmas and then you're scrambling to figure out what that is. Guys, let me help you, or ladies, let me help you here with the guys. Get a gift card to the gun room. Problem solved. Christmas saved. Everyone's going to be happy. Look, the gun room isn't just another shop. These guys know their stuff. They're friendly. They're patient. They've helped me more than once when I walked in saying, okay, just point me in the right direction. And whether you're a serious collector or someone who hasn't picked up a firearm since Uncle Bob's backyard in 1998, they'll help make you feel welcome. Ladies, trust me on this one. A gun room gift card is the best holiday gift you can get your husband, guy in your life. You'll thank me later. Guys, go in there and treat yourself too. It's the holidays. You've worked hard all year long. You've earned it. Find them in Lakewood or online at denvergunroom.com. denvergunroom.com. 303-237-1300. 303-237-1300. Be sure to tell them Jeff sent you. And if your wife blames me for your new hobby, I'll take the heat. All right, we'll continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader News Talk 710. This is KNUS.
So who is the D.C. pipe bomber who eluded the FBI for 4 years and 10 months? A mastermind of international mystery, Mr. Thorpe? Or a guy that shuffles around his neighborhood in shorts in 20-degree weather, wearing Crocs, carrying his chihuahua, and visiting the local 7-Eleven? Apparently it's the latter.
Yeah.
Do you believe it? And why did it take the FBI 4 years and 10 months to go grab this guy?
And shout out to Mary from Wyoming who called in off air and said that she was listening late at night, and there was a sergeant that called into a show that said that from the video, the gate is a little off. And he said that from his experience of watching these type of surveillance videos, he would have guessed that the perpetrator is female, just based on, again, shorter steps and shorter gait, which would lead into the part that you read earlier, Jeff, about the guy having very, very short legs and doing a gait analysis. And so again, but this is just stuff that we did not prove in anything else as on talk radio and things that people are saying as far as neighbors. But that could be it, is that a guy that has looked at surveillance video before looks at that and sees an odd gait. So that might play into what the person that the neighbor talked about that you were reading earlier. I just wanted to add that in.
Great. Thank you, Mary. Let's go to the phone lines. Marcus and Aurora. Good morning, Marcus. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Morning, guys. It's good to talk to Sherlock Holmes and Watson. Hey, the two things I wondered was, I'd like to see, he was working at the bondsman for bails. I'd like to see the list of who they dealt with on release. And the second thing on real estate, remember the Clintons were in that real estate, so I find this interesting too. So that's about it. But I'd like to see that list, who they were bonding out.
I've seen some mentions online that they're even involved in lawsuits, possibly around illegal immigrants against ICE and some of the detentions that have taken place. But that may just be par for the course with bail bond companies that are dealing with a certain clientele. Maybe that's just explains that. But the fact that when you read the FBI complaint that it took 4 years for these guys to figure out, you think either we have the dumbest law enforcement, a bunch of Barney Fifes running around going, well, gee golly, we got cell phone records, license plates, and purchase histories, yet it takes 4 years and 10 months to even pick this guy up. They couldn't have questioned him, investigated, whatever. That doesn't make any sense. Or they deliberately hid this. Meanwhile, and this is what kind of drives me crazy, Marcus, they picked apart every Capitol Hill January 6th rioter with a fine-tooth comb. I mean, they went through remember they released videos and were like, does anyone know who this guy or this grandma is, for instance? And then prosecuted and sent attorneys and, I mean, the full force of the FBI and the DOJ. If you even step foot into the Capitol on January 6th, yet this guy who they had credit card purchase history of pipe bomb material sat in his house for 4 years and 10 months. Seems wildly politically motivated. And I only bring that up because we see that same type of political motivation here in Colorado regarding Tina Peters, in my opinion. Marcus, your thoughts?
Yeah, but follow the money. I just want to know, did they bail out certain protesters or just fall? Because there was a lot of money involved here. So that's what interests me. Who is on that list that they bailed out?
Yeah, interesting, Marcus. We'll have to continue to follow it. Appreciate your call. Have a wonderful weekend. That's Marcus in Aurora. If you would like to join the conversation, his line is open, 303-696-1971, or text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. Suzanne saying, I agree. I thought it was a female as soon as I saw the video as well.
Interesting.
There you go. Some people saying, I don't know what an incel is, but they're saying it's always these incels. What is an incel?
Incel is a term that has popped up for individuals that are, easiest way to put it, and I don't know what the technical term is, so I'm going to go with more of a colloquial description as far as what they are. They are men that are voluntarily or involuntarily celibate, mostly because they think that women dislike them, that a certain type of masculinity isn't wanted anymore, that the society is pushing them to not be the men they should be, and so they're more meek, they seem more turned in, they're more insular, and that's kind of where it comes from. So it's a movement there. It's not necessarily the groypers, but it has some of the same characteristics in that group. And they have been simmering under the surface for some time with a lot of anger, in my opinion, with the loss of I would say a male-dominated society. And what I mean by that is a society in which men were given all the jobs first, and the women were the secretaries and the waitresses and those things, because those are the women jobs. And we're taking away the men from the men jobs. And that's kind of the feeling, is that they feel pushed out for a variety of reasons based on society and politics and a bunch of other stuff. That's kind of where they are. I haven't seen any political affiliation per se, so I'm not willing to say that incels are either liberal or conservative, because I've seen people pop up on both sides that are like that. But it's an online thing that's been happening for a few years, and it's men that feel disconnected from the rest of society and have kind of decided that there's no way I will ever be able to get a wife or start a family or anything, because I'm not the kind of person that is supposed to have a wife or anything else, that they don't mesh with what society wants right now, type of thing. And they're not guys walking around, as this guy saying he's an incel, they're not guys walking around saying, are we getting pumped at the gym today? I got to make sure I get my protein shakes. No. I'm getting out there and I'm going to make sure that I do. It's not that at all. It's something completely different.
They seem to be just like weird, wiry dudes. So what I bring up when I talk about it, there seems to be a pattern here. It's the guy that assaulted me down at the anti-ICE rally, just kind of a weirdo, random, kind of wiry, thin guy. And then the guy that shot Charlie Kirk, you look at some of the school shooters, like the one up in Evergreen recently, and then you look at the January 6th pipe bomber. They're just kind of, like the Bible talks about how things happen like a thief in the night. Like you don't expect them, you don't see them, they just appear randomly out of nowhere, and then they strike. That seems to be the case in a lot of these. And so, you know, is it a conspiracy, or is it just you have this element out there? It's not a particular race. It's just kind of random, weirdo, wiry guys.
Yeah, and
I don't know.
The incel movement is tied to a lot of violence, because it's the idea that society doesn't like us as men. We aren't the type of men they want. And in contrast to the idea of the big, tough, manly men that we've seen, like Josh Hawley and stuff release books about the loss of masculinity. Yeah. These are guys that, again, thin and wiry because they don't fit that image of masculinity.
Are they just losers? Are they just?
Here's the thing:
it reminds me of the Columbine shooters. Well, yeah, it's kind of losers.
It's not necessarily all losers per se, because some of them are rather intelligent, and it's not that they're dumb and losers. It's that they feel, I guess I'd say, rejected by society. That what society wants a man to be, both from the super masculine people and from the super liberal people, they're not that, and they feel rejected at most by women and what women are expecting inside of society. So they feel that society is telling them they aren't enough, and so they're going to violently react to society. Now, this guy, I'm not sure if I'd put him into the incel camp, because I haven't seen anything about women outside of it, because normally the incels will have a lot of online posts, a lot of online stuff about these women need to be taught this, and this is why the society is falling down, but they take shots at everybody. They just feel othered. Yeah.
Joan saying, well, these incels sound like perfect candidates for AI girlfriends. Ha!
Again,
all right.
some of them are going that direction.
All right, let's talk Dan Caplis with Dan Caplis Law. I've known Dan for well over a decade. This guy has delivered justice for Coloradans for 40 years, helping people who've been hurt in serious motor vehicle crashes. He's the son of a police officer and a former seminarian. Dan is believed to be the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases. Dan is also believed to have won the largest truck crash verdict in Colorado state history. Dan Caplis Law is the official law firm partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. Dan Caplis Law is a serious firm for serious cases. Dan accepts righteous injury cases on a percentage fee basis so that he can represent good people from all walks of life without regard to ability to pay. So if you need Dan's help, give him a call, 303-770-5551, 303-770-5551, or hit dancaplisLaw.com. That's Dan, CAPLIS Law.com. We'll continue. We've got You Choose the News coming up. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Gino, the cop texting in that incel stands for involuntarily celibate.
Yeah, involuntary celibate. Yeah.
Huh. So they don't want to be celibate, but just no girls
but they
like
feel,
them.
They feel that they're outside. Yeah, that they're outside of society, that they can't get dates.
Did you see the study that something like 45% of Gen Z males have never asked a woman out?
Wow. No.
Bro.
I didn't see that.
Come on. It's not that
crazy.
crazy. Just go, hey, let's go grab some coffee.
Well, most of it, though, is just swipe left, swipe right.
Yeah,
That's the issue. That's the problem. Is that that's how they get, that's how they meet people. So that's the issue is nobody's had to take that step up and go, hey, and do it in IRL. So that's the problem.
Well, speaking of losers,
Yes.
Bill Thorbs, you choose the news loser edition.
Oh, good. I thought we were going in a different direction. Yes, it is that time for the loser edition of You Choose the News.
Blake Olson.
Oh, no, it's Blake Olson. Damn it, Beavis. You know what the problem is? Here's the issue. You know what the problem is for me? I forget about this every Friday. It's the loser edition is a different color.
Yes, it is.
Because the other one is yellow. So I pushed the yellow one thinking I got to do the yellow one because it's Friday, but it's over there. So no, we're going to try this again. We're going to pretend that I just didn't make a dumbass mistake on a Friday. Yes. And remember, if you make a mistake on a Friday, yeah, you didn't do it as publicly as me. Yeah. So take heart in that today. At least you make that private, mistake in the job and stuff like that. But hopefully nothing happens bad. I just got to push a different button. Aha, here it is. That's the right song. It is time for the loser edition of You Choose the News. I'll get this right one day.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
Let's go. Loser! You're a loser!
The Losers Club.
Bunch of losers.
You're such a loser. You made me feel like a loser!
She's a loser. You are such a loser. Loser.
Yes, these are the stories that both Jeff and Blake felt unworthy of our attention earlier this week, so they come back for a second shot at glory. As always, nobody has any idea that we are wasting valuable KNUS time this early in the morning, so shh. Giant secret. Okay, gentlemen, here are today's headlines. Headline number 1, review the reviews. Headline number 2, behold the mystery. Headline number 3, morbid chain of events. And headline number 4, jacket tax. Mr. Hunt, your choice.
Jacket tax?
Yes, jacket tax. Here we
do
find ourselves in Beijing, China. China has just announced it is going to impose a new value-added tax on a whole bunch of new drugs and devices that includes condoms. Yes, you got to tax your jacket. For the first time in 3 decades, the latest bid to reverse plunging birth rates that have threatened to slow the economy. Under the new value-added tax law, consumers will pay a 13% levy on items that have been exempt since 1993, which include condoms. Because of their one-child policy, they actively promoted birth control. They're trying to reverse that. The revision carves out new incentives for prospective parents, like exempting childcare services from nurseries to kindergartens, as well as even exempting elder care institutions and disability service providers and things like that. But again, yes, you got to pay a tax on the little man's jacket. Just saying. In there. Yeah. Interesting way. I don't know if it'll work. Okay, Blake, your turn, sir. Review the reviews, behold the mystery, or morbid chain of events.
Behold the mystery.
Yes, behold the mystery. Here we are in Japan, right next door to China. There was no mystery whatsoever that fans wanted more of Nissan's mystery meat, and it's finally being given to them. Yes, Cup of Noodles. Nissan has announced they are going to release their mystery meat, a popular brand of instant ramen, inside of Japan. Now, they have a love for mystery meat more than 2018. Nissan actually back then tweeted a photo of mystery meat topped rice bowl. Public immediately responded. It went on sale online. They sold out of all 10,000 units in, wait for it, 1.6 seconds. Not even 2 seconds, and they sold out of all of their mystery meat noodle bowls, 10,000 of them.
Yum.
So they figured, let's go ahead and do this. Now, so people are clearly hungry for more mystery meat. So yes, they are now introducing the Cup of Noodle Kaizen Meshi Mystery Meat Bowl. Yes. Now, the meat is not actually a mystery. You can find out the ingredients on the label, but it's just fun. So, yeah. Okay, Jeff, final choice. Review the reviews or morbid chain of events?
Morbid chain of events?
Oh, this is a tough one. A man recently died while he was standing next to some train tracks because of he was killed by a flying cow. Well, okay, not a whole cow, just part of a cow. See, the guy was a former railway worker. He had retired. He's standing there taking a leak next to the train tracks. The train comes flying. They've got that cow catcher on the front, cows on the tracks. It cut the cow in half, threw it more than 30 yards. Half the cow landed on top of him, and he's dead. Yeah. So he was killed by a flying cow while peeing.
That is a perfect example
Find
of a
that on your
morbid
bingo
chain
card.
of events.
Share that with your friends this weekend.
We'll be back. You're listening to Jeff and Bill.
This is KNUS.